Good evening. My name is Sharon Sturkey. I live at 328 Drake Road, which is kind of kitty corner from 307. First off, I wanted to know how big that property is that they are proposing for the single family dwelling, because I know it's more than an acre.
It's what?
It's more than an acre, which is typical for most of the houses on that road.
5 acres.
5 acres?
5 acres.
Okay. And are there any preliminary plans for that other than just a house? Are you putting farm equipment on it? Are you putting a barn on it? Are you farming it?
Oh, we farm it now.
I know they farm it now.
We do.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear tractors in there all the time.
Yeah.
My concern is that
We're not putting solar in there, so we don't have to worry
oh,
about that.
we already got that down the corner. We don't need any more.
Don't worry about that.
No, but is it going to, you are going to have a barn with farm equipment and tractors and everything all over there?
Farm equipment up to the main farm. There won't be no farm.
No, it's a single house.
It's a
It's a
single
ranch.
ranch house for him and his wife and his, son. You know,
Do you have any prints on it that I can maybe just take
Sure.
a gander at?
yeah, sure.
I did not bring the building permit.
Okay.
The building plans, I did not bring the house plans for me.
Well, one of my main concerns is that in that area, not trying to blow anybody in, we have a lot of home businesses in that area that people are working small businesses out of their houses, and that road's really getting trashy. You have 8, 9, 10 vehicles with plows and salt trucks and landscape haulers and diesel trucks going in and out, and it just looks trashy.
Ma'am, just to let you know, this is about this single lot.
Yeah.
If they come in for home occupation, there is a way to do it, and it's done through their code compliance office, and then it comes in front of here. If you have some issues that involve another parcel of land,
Well, I was
or
just,
other parcels, okay,
Mhm.
please call, talk to our code compliance, and we'll look into it. But at this time, this is a single residential house.
I was looking for intent, their future intent.
It's fine, but it's not anything that's on the plan, it's not anything that's being asked for. This is just the construction of a house to be lived in by a member of the family.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking for intent and if they had any preliminary plans, because I had heard rumors, and I just wanted to come in.
Pretty much this is a conforming, okay, lot, all right? It's been in front of this board now, this is the 3rd month, that's why we're trying to get it free. I'd be more than happy to share the site plan with you if you'd like to take a look at it.
Yes,
Real
I could.
quickly. Steve, would you take that too? And while you peruse that, is there anybody else, okay, that has any concerns about this property? Okay, and I'll give you a few minutes to look at it, but pretty much shows where the leach field is, the water lines, drainage. It's all been designed by a professional engineer.
Thank you.
Everything you see in front of you meets applicable standards.
Pretty straightforward.
No barns or anything.
No barns.
No silos, nothing. So a little single house.
And if they did, they'd have to come back to us anyways, so.
Very easy, yeah.
Main thing, no solar panels.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, if there's no one else that have any issues or questions or concerns, I will close the public hearing part of it, and I will go through engineering and attorney for any additional things. Thank you for your input. Sure, I got after that closed public part of the hearing, right? JP?
We prepared a comment letter on March 22nd, to Jim Rogowski, who prepared the site plan. He's updated the drawing, in relation to my comments and addressed my engineering concerns, so my engineering concerns.
Thank you, JP. G?
Just that it's for an unlisted action pursuant to seeker, so we should have a motion to that effect when you're ready.
Cheryl?
Answer the questions, been very patient through all the meetings, and I'm bored of everything.
Thank you.
No issues.
Steve? Okay, nothing. Looks good. I'm not gonna talk to myself. So with that being said, we need a request for state environmental quality review act and a motion for approval with any conditions if they're needed.
All right, I'll make a motion for the application of Rodney Mang, 307 Drake Road, that this is an unlisted action. But this is an unlisted action for purpose of conducting an uncoordinated review under seeker. And upon the record before the board, the planning board makes final that the action will have no significant environmental impact and adopts a negative declaration.
Second. Second.
Steve Law,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Snyder,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Mark Valentine,
Yes.
Steve Pittner.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan application Rodney Mang, corner Rodney and Linda Mang, seeking preliminary and final single lot subdivision at 307 Drake Road. Single dwelling is proposed, account number 020.020-003-007.112. This is an RM zoning district. Site plan was submitted July 5th, 2022.
Second. Second.
Steve Law,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Snyder,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Mark Valentine,
Yes.
Steve Pittner.
Yes. Very, very good. Thank you for your patience, so we can complete this. I've got some extra copies here to, grab them for your own records. And good luck.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Now, what's the next process? Does that come to you, Cheryl, to get the building permit?
The building permit, yeah.
Okay, all right, no, I just wanted to ask that one question.
Like I said, thanks for being patient.
Hey, young lady, you can come over anytime too. Walk across the road, have a cup of coffee. All right, you guys have a good day.
Thank you guys. I'll come here to it.
Good luck with your
You guys have a good day. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, second item on our agenda. For a conservation corridor development permit for Robert City Road, 6544 Shore Acres Drive. Okay, to install a generator within 100 foot of the shore. Is there somebody here? Who would like to stand up and give everybody a little brief description?
Sure. We are looking to have a generator installed. It's at 18 kilowatts. So we can be warm in the winter and cool in the summer if the power goes out.
Okay, first, Janine.
No one was home when I did an inspection, so I didn't know the exact location of it. Could you be more specific about where it's located?
We had a little back and forth with that. Cheryl was helping us, but to my understanding, it will be in the northwest quarter of the property.
Northwest or south?
Northwest, yes.
Southwest.
Is it the southwest?
Yes.
Corner of the building.
Yes. Away from the lake.
Oh, of our building, yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
in the northwest corner of that backyard, right?
Yes, yes, in the fenced-in area, yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. You
I had some minor comments, back, for your meeting in July. And just know that it's a small lot, and, you know, the houses are rather close together in that vicinity, that you consider, some sort of buffer for the break wall. So I don't know what that fence is, but I guess it shows the chain link on the mapping. I have the sewer project, but, you know, some sort of buffering for the neighbors. Because when they kick on in summer, people's windows are open and that. It's just a courtesy for noise. And fuel for it, are you gonna have a propane or a?
Okay.
So propane, you don't have really spill concerns about. So, and that part of the site is, it's above 250, but I think below 251, so keep it, the elevating it above, above that 250, somewhat.
So all that being said, Cheryl, setting the elevation and, location so it's not adjacent to an open window of the neighbors and all that other stuff is something that you would make sure would happen, correct? All right? And you've had some of that back and forth, that way,
Yeah.
right? Keith?
No concerns. If you're going to delegate that to Cheryl, then the only thing that remains is to seek the type 2 declaration.
Okay with you?
Yeah.
Steve.
The only thing I think we could probably require screening on two sides of the solid fence to keep from the neighbors, because it is close to the property. So if you did the left side and the back side, would
Slats or?
solid, I would say it's like a dog, some sort of wood solid fence, yeah.
Well, they're quiet anyway, aren't they, or?
And it won't be on all the time, it's just when the power goes out, and it does a weekly test, and we can set the time that it's not gonna bother the neighbors. You know, we could do it at 11 a.m. when we know everybody's up, or we have the ability to set the time to have a test done.
You get along good with your neighbors, right?
We do.
And sometimes.
Yes.
Like I do with the extension. Go ahead. Yeah. I'm good. You're good?
I think I agree with Steve, because the lot is so tight, it's gonna be right on the edge.
It is. I mean,
And
they're probably touch some of
A couple of lengths of, solid fencing, make a nice cedar fence, whatever, would add value ultimately to both you and the neighbors.
At that point, they had to come back to the planning board for the fence, if it isn't just going to be within 100 feet of the lake.
Yeah.
They would have to come back to the planning
We
board.
included it in this.
You
We make it a
you very well could, it could be an addition.
Could be a condition, right?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Condition and addition, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should
That's
do that.
agreeable.
And on because we have the chain link fence there already, on the outside toward the neighbors, this barrier, or on the inside?
Will be that towards your neighbor, the
Okay.
closest neighbor.
Okay.
I'll come out.
Usually your
Okay.
fences are just inside your line.
Right.
Just on it, so it'd be easier to maintain. Steve?
I'm curious, required height of the fence like that.
Yeah, most of those.
How high should you like?
17, what'd you say, 17 kilowatts or 18 kilowatts?
18 kilowatts.
You know, that's gonna set up 36 inches.
Yeah, right. Plus it'll be up a little bit, so it's just have to be required.
I mean, 4 feet would probably be.
Now, is it possible to put something in that chain link fence?
No.
Nothing really.
No.
It'd be at the right, that's
Okay, so that being said, it would be a type 2 secret. Okay. That is a condition that has to be made. And Mark, have at it.
Okay, let me see, gotta find the right, here we go. action to be a type 2 under seeker. Second.
Steve Law,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Slider,
Yes.
James Vincent,
Yes.
Mark Valentine,
Yes.
Steve Hittner.
Yes. And then on the main motion, for the Conservation Corridor Development Permit for Robert and Cindy Root at 6544 Shore Acres Drive, application of Robert and Cindy Root owners, Robert and Cindy Root seeking a Conservation Corridor Development Permit to install a generator within 100 feet of Lake Ontario. The application is submitted, at July 5th, 2022 meeting. We'd like to add in a condition of this approval that a sufficient length of solid fencing be installed between your property and the generator, providing additional screening and noise abatement.
Steve Law,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Slider, Steve Vincent,
Yes.
Mark Valentine,
Yes.
Steve Hittner.
Okay, very good. I'm sure I'll finish up your business at sometime in the near future, and thanks for reviewing it.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is for a property merge for a piece of property that was owned by Marion D. Collins, 1310 Walker Lake, Ontario Road. I believe there's been some changes in the administrator of the estates and all that other stuff, and that's why you're here, Rich.
One here. This is a previous subdivision I did probably, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 years ago. When the Greenwell bought the lion's share of this property. It was it's been in the current family. I believe the person who signed the application was the executor of the estate.
The administrator of the estate, it's Corey.
Yeah, he came over, right?
He did come over a couple of days ago, yeah.
So I don't know if this is what what you're looking for, or?
I'm looking for proof that Corey is the administrator. I haven't seen proof of that.
Right, and I'll have to, because I'm working with Maureen Warner, but she's working for Greenwell. I don't know who's working on behalf of the current, but I'll let her know that we get some kind of documentation, because to be honest with you, she was passed when I did the original subdivision, and I don't know how that got through when it did, but it did.
Right.
Right.
Things happen, yeah.
So, but what brings us here tonight is that, the Greenwells have been farming all the farmland that's there, but a portion of it was spilled over onto the northerly lot, which I think is Corey's lot. And so what we're trying to do is, do a split merge where they're gonna get all of the farmable land, move everything from the creek that runs through there to the northeast with a strip of land attaching it to the house property, for them to keep using that for a wild area, if you wanna call it that. For bike track, something like that. That's what we're shooting for them.
Okay, so we end up with 3 lots that encompass the whole parcel that was
Initially surveyed,
divvied up.
Yep.
Okay. And lot, or 3 becomes the largest of the 3.
Correct.
So, just so I think I understand this as well. So this R3 was lot 3,
Used to be, yep.
and then we're adding this,
Yep.
this shape from what was lot 1 to R3.
Right, and that shape is kind of follows it through, right?
So it's really a property line adjustment,
Okay.
right? We're not creating,
Nope.
we're not creating new lots,
We're just moving
we're
on.
merging lots.
Well,
doing that.
You're adjusting property lines.
Rich, how wide is that strip? It's a 200 scale drawing, I'm guessing that's 70, 80 feet.
80 feet, I think, is what we left it at. I can double check though.
What's that, the small area?
That's along north borderline area.
Yeah. Well, if you compare it to your 8705 on lot 2, that would be pretty close. But that might be a spot where sometime you might want to get a dimension for.
So,
As an adjustment, how do we go forward with this?
Well, it's neither a subdivision or a lot, or just a lot line adjustment,
Right,
but I believe you have discretion that's, as long as you're not creating something non-conforming,
I mean, but something has to be filed.
it has to be filed, but I don't believe you need public hearings or.
So with that, do we need a
More
public hearing?
legal question.
Okay. Is there significant information that we looked at in this with the exception of the newest transmittal that we've got, the other stuff in it from Maureen? That has to happen.
The person who signed failed to offer authority of their right to sign on behalf of the property.
Okay.
So,
But is it true that Corey's the only one left?
No, there's a sister, but the sister knows the code is the one that's doing all the signing.
So we need a legal direction document similar to this. Okay.
Makes sense.
Is there a time frame issue to do with this?
What are we in, August? As long as I beat October. Okay,
Well, let's table this to next month and let's see if, would you like to give them preliminary approval or the?
you can give them the full shot, just make sure it's conditions upon them providing, proof of authorization by a certain date, so the file doesn't remain open.
Any filing, right?
Pardon me?
Yeah, any filing.
Well, yeah, it's been working my wheelhouse anyway, because I gotta run it by the county surveyor for the meeting, so. We didn't get to start the lineup.
Someone want to try and put together a motion for this?
We'll make a motion here for, Marion Carnes. First of all, first, type 2 unlisted negative deck under CEQA.
That's true, right?
Type 2, 1310 Walker Lake, Ontario Road.
Second.
Steve Clark,
Yeah.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Snyder,
Yes.
James Nesbitt.
Yes.
Mark Valentine.
Yes. Yes. And, secondly here for, the, approval here for, Marion Carnes, property merge. A lot of adjustment, yeah. 1310 Walker Lake, Ontario Road. We also want proof of authorization here on the paperwork. For Corey Carnes, owner, deceased, seeking a property merge of 2 parcels into 1 parcel. Tax account 022.02-002-018.1. 54.35 acres and 022.02-002-018.37.25 acres. The following documents have been submitted for review: split merge application, letter of administration, and site plan.
Steve Clark,
Yes.
Dave Martin.
Yes.
Chris Snyder,
Yes.
James Nesbitt. Mark Valentine,
Yes.
Steve Hittner.
Yes.
So you won't have to come back. You won't just come in and give you make the file complete, and then he can You always gotta deal with Tony Sir, so. Probably send a copy of your 30 also.
Oh, I'm gonna make sure people have it.
Yeah, oh, that should be more than happy.
Thank you.
How's Anthony in destination?
Good. Good. Yeah, I was just telling Phil, we've either conquered the job, so. Me and my wife are taking care of the finances, Jerry's taking care of the doctor appointments, and Mark's doing the maintenance, and he's making his regular stops.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for coming in.
Sure. I'm hoping I do the next one.
Next item on the agenda.
You want to do the next
Maybe
one?
not
Oh,
a smart question, but it is a question regarding to this. I guess I'm not understanding how it's 54.35, 7.25, but the map doesn't show the value.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not that.
Does it show the acres, or does it show the?
The acres don't match the resolution. Here, you want to see what we're talking about? That doesn't match.
What's the
How
value?
about this?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I know.
So. I don't see 700.
I just want to make sure we approve is what the map shows.
What's the total?
We're gonna end up with 62 point, let's say 98% right away. For lot R3. And lot R1's gonna end up with 31.5 acres right away. Lot 3 initially had 40 acres to the right away. And lot 1 initially had 3.4 acres to the right away. So it's being conveyed over to lot 3, or lot R3, is a total of 22.8 acres.
Where's the 7.25 acres coming in?
Oh.
Shouldn't it be 22 point?
So it should be 15.1.
It's be the 54.
You have 2 and the 7, yeah. Lot 2 is the only one that comes close to 7 acres.
Something ain't right.
And then you put it picked up and shoots the sides.
Oh, we got this one.
Well, the 54.3 was the old lot 1.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the new lot 1 being the same number, I'm assuming, should read 31.5. And I don't know about this. I don't know what, I'd like to confirm what lot 3's tax number is. Only up in this one. Good. So that should be
7.25 acres was definitely lot 2. Right. Lot 3, tax number is 22.02-2-18.3.
Okay, so this is the right number for lot 3. So it should be 62.9 acres instead of 7.25.
For the balance, yeah.
Yeah. So if you can change 54.35 to 31.5 and 7.25 acres to 62.9, that would represent where they're ending. So I have a little project. Get that, Jim.
It's under it.
Let me do it again.
No.
This is 18.1.
Okay.
That doesn't be all of that.
Okay, I thought it was something else too, but I didn't know if it was cotton candy.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
No worries.
We're all straight now?
Yeah.
You'll make sure, Rich, when you see Cheryl.
Okay, yeah.
Get the corrected acres.
Yeah, I just gave her the right text.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, we're all good on this one. Motion passed.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We've got another.
So the red, that's never good.
Got paper, right?
What are you here? Yeah. Okay, next item on the agenda is for the activities at 5936 West Potomac Beach Road, single-family home replacement.
Correct. That's correct. We approved one about a year ago, about 2 doors down, we saw that new house going up, and we thought maybe might be a good idea, actually, we're gonna use the same builder. This is, the last lot before it turns into Summer Haven. There's a cottage that's tucked up by the lake. GPS engineers did the engineering on it, I did the topography on it. The only thing unique about this, particular property that, the cottage down there had a septic system repair, probably within the last 5 years.
Yeah, nice neighbors.
So,
I got a nice walk around property.
yeah, so, the idea going forward is that, they know that, First Nations coming is going to win. So they're gonna utilize that septic system that's there in the process until they do get the porcelain in there. The gentleman that engineered this also did the one 2 doors down that's for the lead property. So, as far as the engineering stuff goes, I'm gonna be ignorant. So, if CP got any comments, I'm not aware of them.
I have no written comments. I have reviewed it, I can give you my verbal thoughts now in a formal way. The existing grade on the site where this house is going is at about 252. And the garage elevation and that contour going up to the front is over 259. So there's 7 or close to 8 feet of elevation being raised here. And if you look at these contours, it's directing, probably not a well-drained site ever, but it's directing everything to the east neighbors and to the west neighbors' property. So it's a lot of fill and a lot of elevation, and that's a good thing on the lake, but this is a very, 100-foot wide lot with 2 8-foot setbacks. It's an 86-foot wide or 84-foot wide structure on a 100-foot lot and 9 feet of elevation. So they got to do something about picking up drainage and keeping it away from just pushing it off to the river.
I agree with you. Like I said, I've been on the site now twice. Haven't really contacted the neighbors. Okay. You're correct. There's some architectural things that could be done with downspouts.
Some pumps, downspouts.
Architecturally, they could kick the garage a little bit back towards the east on a different angle and give themselves some room that they're gonna need to get rid of all the materials for the single-family cottage that's there. All right, because there isn't that much, there's not much more way to have others. It's gonna need zoning, I believe. Side setback is 15 feet, they're closer than that.
And they haven't been done all the time.
It's fine, but the side setbacks are only 8 feet on both sides.
So the zoning code is written odd for shoreline.
Pardon me?
The zoning code is odd for, it says it says min between 6 feet and 15 feet with no less than 8 feet on each side. So it looks like they're proposing roughly 8 feet on each side, getting them greater than that. Between 6 and 15 feet is how it's been interpreted before. So they're just squeezing in with that 8 feet on both sides to get the total greater than 6 feet.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is that at this point in time, when they're putting a new structure up, given the drainage concerns, is the time to have something greater than the least granted by the zoning ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can put downspouts in the right place. There is some positive drainage that can happen on the site. And in between the two, the one on the more western side is a little bit crowded in, a little bit farther. But this is the time. You got a water line that's got to be excavated out of here. I can't see how they're going to end up on the neighbor's property doing construction after you're done putting the silt fence on. I would like maybe, JP, if you could contact DDS or Zen people and see if we could work at something that would be more. I don't want you to do the engineering for me.
No, I've worked
These
with
comments, you know, we just get this in and we go out and take a look at it. Now's the time. The people want a nicer house, okay, other than a little cottage that's sitting right out for the northwest wind and get flattened by a big iceberg. Okay, and Cheryl, say it again.
There has been something else brought to my attention from a family member, not from the owner, that they might want to keep the cottage and, keep both houses and split the property.
no way.
I told her that we can't do that. She put the sunset on right on the other end, the edge.
We have to change the whole zoning code.
Yeah.
We'd have to rezone the parcel.
Yeah.
And see that the candidates, that's
They
what
tried to
it's
hear that, didn't they? No, I heard that, yeah.
Oh, no.
no, I can see that floating away, even though it's down at the Rock River.
Pretty high, permanent shore there, that's for sure.
Yeah, and, you know, they got some good ground, you got some good ground to the east. Looks like they've got some built-in, retention on the property to the east, where the road comes back around. All right, for spillage and all that other stuff, so that the neighbors have some ability to work with them. But I don't know, JP, have you been on that portion of the site when?
No, not
I did the constructability review over there, but.
not much often. That's what Coleman Beach.
I know when they did my house, they had to use that private drive. A couple of summers ago, get in there, put some trouble. But talking to Karen contacted me initially. And she knows that both neighbors on both sides have no problem with what's going on. So I'm sure that they've already probably, if not already, started working on this deal of access.
Like I said, when I started this, the neighbors were seemed to be fine, but, you know, we're taking a preliminary review, okay, of something, and all the questions we have are exactly the same questions we raised on each and every project. Now's the time to do it. Cheryl, anything else, Steve? You're chopping with the.
Well, I've seen projects like this before, and I'm not an engineer, but I would think pipes and catch basins to catch the water and make sure it gets piped the hell out of there.
See, that's because you've been sitting next to JP.
No,
I'm sure it's one of the issues, ways they can do it. They still have to get rid of the stuff in the cottage and stand up. So.
Let's say do it by barge.
Barge. If you can get a barge in there, okay, you're a better captain than I am. The only way you'll be able to float it on bags.
Seen it on Canada,
So just a few other, comments on their zoning table. Showing front setback 35 feet for code 309, but I believe on the waterfront, the front setback is on the lakeside.
Yeah.
So, and then the rear setback, I think he's got those.
backwards.
Okay.
Sounds like somebody trained.
They meet the setbacks, but they're.
It's really a pretty piece of property.
Regarding the proposed sewer system, there's a hearing Wednesday. Here?
6 o'clock.
St. John's.
St. John's, because we need to borrow a little more money. And, if that goes without too much objection, we'll be able to award the contracts in October. But we have to get past the hurdle of the.
Jenny,
I have no comment on this at this time.
so you might wanna just take a run.
Absolutely.
I know yours is really, you don't need a practice.
Pardon?
Somebody on the board first blush. Chris, I, spent a good part of the afternoon going through the code book. There's nothing in the code book about the demolition of this. So there's no code that says, because of what the people have asked for is build a new house and then demolish the thing. Now, with my experience along the lake, I can show you several garages. The people wanted a garage and then the grandkids wanted to stay upstairs, and then it becomes an apartment with a bathroom and everything else. And I think we gotta nip that in the bud. We've gotta come up with something legal that they can, a timeline for demolition of that house before they get to see a roll.
In a certain period of time.
Yeah, but I think we gotta be straight on that. Because,
Well, I think that's it, you don't issue a CVO on a new house
Until,
until that other one is gone.
so it's gone and the grass is grown. Yeah.
Or they can't pull a building permit until they demo the old house.
that sounds so different.
I think they wanted to live in it.
Wow.
They wanna live in it.
Life is still disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, what do most people do when they build a new house? Oftentimes they rent an apartment.
Get a as well. Yeah, use that. That's how they like to just be out there in the winter out on that point. Like real feel of the lake.
Well, I mean, as you pointed out, you build a new house, you've got an 8-foot setback. How are you gonna get the equipment in there to demo it? How are you gonna haul out the debris? What, one stick at a time?
I could probably demo that with a mini,
Yeah, okay.
and I could get in there. Okay, so I'd probably get the siding in the corner of the garage. Probably with a dump truck training. If you just look at a 10-yard roll up, you couldn't get it in there. You couldn't get it in there. Right. I can get in there. Yeah, small excavator, drag it down to the gate.
Put a large
Way
door,
down to the south.
next to the garage, put a large door in the back of the garage, a large door in the front, and trailer it out. That's really, you're gonna be your own options there. You know?
Look at me.
You already said he's not fun.
All these are all here.
Just be our witnesses.
I'm just listening, I'm just like.
It's really not our problem until, you know, as long as the stipulation made, they can't get CFO, so it's going.
The garage floor is 7 foot higher than the grade behind it.
Right. Yeah, but you do have some undulation of grades.
You have to be able to move in to get it out of the house.
There's a lot of mature trees on this, big trees, which have root structure of about 2.5 to 3 feet. Okay, when that sound goes up, so, I think at this time, we're concept with this. I think the only way we can go any farther is tell them that demolition that before you start construction.
No, how are you forcing somebody to find a place to live when they already have a place to live? No.
Well, then I think we turn this down.
Why?
We bring together, get the
That ain't right, You're pigeonholing, you're forcing a family to try and find a different way to do something they wanna do to make their life better.
Well, I think it's a 2,800 square foot single family home on a lot that's not big enough to handle the house.
It's big, it has plenty by coverage, it's meeting the setbacks. I don't understand how we would define what somebody wants for their home that we don't think is big enough. As long as it meets the zoning code, we have no right to tell them they can't build it. Period. And And really, we have no right to tell them how they demo the house, that's their problem. We have a right to tell them they can't get a COO until that house is gone. But we don't have the right to tell them they can't build that size house as long as it meets setback.
Well, we've already been told to try to encompass both sides, look at this. If someone in the family would like to stay in that, okay? Would it be okay? Okay. I don't feel comfortable with this, but I feel comfortable enough with this in concept, okay? To get it to go forward where design can be attained, you know, more than if we meet all the setback requirements, drainage requirements, and everything else like that. And oh, by the way, I don't care if you want to say it's COO, no temporary COOs are going to be, okay? The COCs coming, the place has to be uninhabitable. Okay, it has to be done. Okay, she has to do a final inspection from them. Okay, and if that is any approval, in a stipulation that anything we do in this board, that building is gonna go away. All right? And we can vote on this as far as concept, if they need to go ahead and fine tune stuff. Our engineer needs to talk with their engineer and fine tune what we have in front of us. And right from the get-go, they're gonna know that that needs to be done.
Can I go ask a question?
You can ask.
What's what you were gonna
That's where we're going. Don't go right ahead.
What is the finished floor elevation of the adjacent property? Do you know, in comparison to what's proposed for here?
Well, the house to the east is far enough away that I did not obtain a finished floor.
No, it is high. We'll probably, there's a downstairs walk off their front door. Okay, it's a high point up there. Actually, there's a mountain of rock in there someplace. When I did a couple studies over there, it had rock, living down there, it had rock. That's a main point.
House to the west, that's low.
That's it.
Well, it's gonna be quite dramatic,
It already is compared to the house Mike Lee put up,
which is how far away from the house to the west?
8 feet,
maybe,
10 feet, maybe?
10 feet
Yeah,
far away.
there was about 2 foot between there and that fence.
So this aerial doesn't show the new house?
It's an oblique picture.
I mean, there's no house shown.
No, because it's still under construction. That aerial is probably from 2020.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Start over public hearing, all right? That's for a public hearing.
It's for a public hearing.
I'd like to hear their plan
For the what?
for demoing and removing the debris of the house. I suppose, one could alternatively get an easement, even if only temporary, over one of the adjoining lots to haul out the debris. If I were their neighbor, I wouldn't be generous enough to allow them on my land to do that, but they might have a generous enough neighbor who would agree to
Guys
that.
are so hard to get along. No.
I know.
Absolutely.
Well, that house to the east has got a driveway. It almost comes right up to that property.
It does.
So we can ask for a demo plan as part of this application. This is what we do at CASA. That's a good idea. Okay? No, that's
I like that idea.
And drainage.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying, it's gonna happen. And DES can solve that problem. I know that. So, that's dealt with them the other day. They told me, you know, they get along, they might be able to do it. Okay. All right. Do you think we got a point here that we're gonna kick this out of once or two?
We need to see more.
Make a motion to send it to public hearing.
Let's set a public
Can we
hearing.
table it?
Maybe you want to hear a plan
I
first?
wanna see some preliminary plans that address the comments we've had here tonight.
Okay.
Okay? And that's it. That'll, Senator Keaton, that'll give us a final path for us, and I'll be more comfortable setting a public hearing. So, do we
motion that we, table the item for,
Well, one second, Chris. I mean, you're gonna schedule a public hearing anyways, right? I mean, these people are chomping at the bit. They wanna build this fall.
well, let's see some plans.
Well, this is what I say too, right? I say that all the time. But, if JP does his review and gets it over to DDS, maybe have the plans back in time for the public hearing in September. That would, with all of these comments that are being talked about, is that all, and is that not a reality, or is that something that we gotta wait a month and then don't go to a public hearing after that, and then finally get it approved?
Let's see, demolition plan, drainage, and everything else has to be in here in 2 weeks.
I'll say yeah. It's not me doing it. I'll say yeah.
Worst case, worst case, then we table it again.
Table
Go
public
public
hearing.
hearing and then table it again.
It's a single lot, it's a single, what?
I didn't want to interrupt.
It's a single lot residential site plan that we've done preliminary and final at one time or another. Sure. Okay. But the onus goes back on your client and DDS, but you can't speak for.
I can't speak for either one of them.
All right. You've been here as witness to what we talked about.
I've been here as a witness to what we talked about, and you all are witnesses, and I tried to do my best to get her to keep going, so that's how we're at.
You can either smile and be the hero, okay?
I ain't no
You
hero.
got big shoulders.
I ain't no hero.
Okay.
You know, it is, I
Don't work with
just,
anybody that wants to perform, and so will anybody on this board. If they get slapped in the face, we're not gonna work with anybody.
I just threw it out there.
What's the cutoff date?
I mean, this is all speculation anyway, because even if we told DBS that it's gotta be in 2 weeks, they're probably gonna laugh and say it ain't gonna happen. But,
Well, then, there's no sense setting a date, advertising and getting it.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, they are a big firm. I mean, when it boils down to it, I mean, there's a lot more people working there than there are at Memorial Landscape, I can tell you that right now.
What are we gonna do? What do you wanna do?
When's the cutoff? What's the cutoff?
September for the September 6th meeting, it would be, August 23rd at 12 noon.
3 weeks.
They can get that, Rich.
Sure.
Depends how bad they want to build.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me
I mean, if they don't make it, they don't make it. If they want to build in the fall, this plan is dated July 8th. You meet once a month. I mean, that's a bit of that on them. This is the first time we're seeing it and they want to build in the fall. Well, that's September 15th. In fall.
Yeah, they probably don't have the plans.
But, you know.
They have house plans.
They get what?
They have house plans.
Yeah, but we don't want them.
They garage.
No, it's not that. We need something a little bit, okay, fit the lot.
You know, I'm easy going.
I certainly can get engineering comments to add.
You wanna vote on a motion that is proposed, and if we deny it, then we go to something else? What do you want to do?
They need to, once this, what needs to be done, if they want to meet that signal. That's all the time with the business so far.
The biggest issue is being able to get it to you and get it approved.
That's it, Mom?
I don't.
I mean, we already demo plan, I just kind of bring it to my trip.
Okay, make a motion.
That's what we're talking about. Okay.
I make a motion to set this application for public hearing on September 6th for Karen Tabor, 5936 West Lacoma Beach Road.
I'll second it.
Steve Ross,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Snyder, Frank Nesbitt,
Yes.
Marcellus Stein,
Yes.
Lee Stegner.
Yes.
Okay. Falls out of our court.
Once it's on them now to get the stuff in.
Right. Yeah, don't forget they gotta pay for the public hearing notice. All right, we have, an addition for Thomas Mann, 179 Church Road. Seeking a property.
I'm sticking around. I'm gonna sit down.
A property split. This is been kind of a last minute thing for us.
Yeah, sorry about that, I just leave it in here. So, the horse farm is 32 acres. Splitting off, trying to split the farmhouse off from the remaining farm, keep the farm separate from the house. Our plan is to sell the house to my son. And eventually, we'll take the farm. So right now, we're proposing to split it off in the 3 variances, because of the restrictions in the setbacks of the barns. I think we have a front lot, the front
We have a couple
lot
of
width.
zoning issues.
Yeah, there's 3 zoning issues that I know of. The one is the lot width, I think the code is 250 feet. We can get it close to 150. The plan was slightly modified. I need to shift that property line, 'cause right now, the 2 pastures that are shown there, I kind of crossed it out in the red. Those 2 pastures are utilized by the farm, and for liability reasons, I need to keep them with the farm, because I can't have people's horses and people riding on horses. If they were to fall off on my son's property, they'd be liable. So we have to split that. So again, the lot has to be shrunk. I don't know the exact acreage, but it's going to shrink it down to roughly an acre and a half. And that's the lot. And the other variance is so it's lot size, the front lot width, and then there's a setback from the barn of 50 feet, which we will not have. The barn itself, just so you know, if you look at the barn portion that's closest to the farmhouse, that is currently not, there's no horses in that section of the barn. That is our 3 bays there for our equipment. So there's no animals in that section of the out part of the barn.
So the red line has been pinned on, that's what you're proposing for the new property line? Along the front of the barn, this one?
Yeah, they were trying to keep that back, and I'm proposing to just go straight through and not have all those.
So how, it looks like there's a driveway access into the barn?
Yeah, there's driveway.
So you're not gonna make that turn, right?
It goes straight back.
All right, so you're not turning into the barn?
No, everything comes from, there's 3 bays.
So you just need access.
Yeah. So we're just squaring, the idea was to square that up. This, like I said, these are patches utilized by the farm, so that would be the rear lot line.
So if this was 1.6, then this is gonna be, not 1. 1.68 acres.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, what's our minimum
An
lot
acre.
for this building?
2.
So you got a couple issues.
Yeah, so it's like 3 variances that I know, right?
If the red line is your west property line,
Yeah.
that's, okay, what's the dimension between the corner of the barn and that line? You know, approximately. Because then the farm is gonna need probably a size setback, I'm not sure. Maybe not, I don't know.
Oh, for the house, I need the setback for the house.
Well,
The barn to the property.
the barn to the property line.
50, there was a 50-foot setback there.
So that's another thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I have another question too, is that
Sure.
because you also have a special use permit for this
Yeah.
entire property, and we're taking even a 1 or 1.5 acre office, will it affect the number of horses you can board? You may not be able to board as many horses, I don't know, I haven't looked into it, it's a question. You may have to lower the number if you take.
I'm not sure how that number was, I thought my wife said we were allowed 35 horses, and we only have 32.
I thought it was different than that, I thought it was like 45, and then some of the land was sold off, I think maybe before you were the owners,
Could,
and
yeah.
that's why the number of horses went down, but I will look into that. You haven't looked into that at all?
No,
Okay.
I mean,
I'll look
no,
into that.
I don't know what the requirement is, per horse, or is
Okay.
it based on a special use permit, I'm not sure.
Based on the acreage?
Right, that was in place before we bought it, so I'm not quite sure how that.
Okay, I'll look into that for you, Tom.
Well, if it has an effect on it, then it modifies the special use permit automatically because it's existing. Unless you're granted something else.
Yeah, I
Then
can,
you have to meet a hardship for something like that, so.
sure. I can tell you that the way it's split off there, that the farm property that we're utilizing for the farm now is not reused. You know, what we're utilizing for pastures and everything is not getting reduced just because of the subdivision. Does that make sense?
Well, based on what the number was based on in our code, I know it's farmable acres or total acreage of site.
I'll look over the special use permit paperwork.
Yeah, you can let me know, I'm curious.
Did I find it tomorrow, I can email it to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens inside the vinyl fenced area that's staying with the house?
Nothing, that's been removed. Just get down. No fence that we don't use anymore.
What do you guys wanna do with this? This is snaps up. We need to see some accurate drawings, cause it's gonna be a subdivision,
Yeah.
you know. I think I've seen something by a professional,
Yeah, that was, again, this was, contract.
Well, it seems like there's a little bit of homework that has to be done here, okay, to get into final design, because you got red lines and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
actually depict what we have here, okay? So would you be ready for next month to do a presentation? Or, I don't know.
What's the next step? Is it?
Well, you're gonna have to go to zoning. Okay. So you're gonna have to get something together from a licensed professional and go to zoning, show exactly what you have.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then if you come to us and you've been granted things, okay, based on for subdivision, okay, then we can set dates. You're probably a couple months out.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no,
It's the idea of having a concept, to see
Yeah.
where you're gonna go next.
Well, I expected to have an updated drawing before I got here, but I didn't get it in time, so I apologize for that. But, I'll do that.
Well, you got a little bit of a leg up anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the next step is the variance. So, and that I have to have, and then your drawing.
That's why I need to use for zoning and for planning.
Okay, well, right now, we're gonna table it.
Okay, yep.
Can I get a,
Make a motion to, table the, sketch plan review for proposed property split for town of command at 179 Church Road.
Steve Law,
yes,
Dave Martin,
yes,
Rich Slider,
yes,
James Smith,
yes.
Mark Ellerstein, Steve Hitler.
Okay. Well, that's kind of the end of the things we
Thank you.
You're welcome.
had on the agenda.
Absolutely. Good night.
Wait,
So,
discussion. No candidates for opening that planning board.
As far as I know.
not that I know of.
Nothing at all.
Well, let's mind some of the other boards. See if there's anybody interested that has some background.
I did present that issue to the conservation board on the last meeting. I let them know that there's an opening.
Or just awareness. They're asking some people out, you know. I hate to be discriminatory, but somebody that doesn't have one here. Somebody other than yeah, that'll be nice. You retired. Feel like the Planet of the Apes movie, once you sober here. Some of you guys are color. I'm only kidding, come on. I colored it once and my daughter didn't even know what it was. That didn't hurt. What color did you color it? Purple? Oh. Janine, do you have anything?
Things are quiet with the conservation board. I'd like to mention that, in the New York State budget this year, it included, some freshwater wetland reform. So there will be, in the coming years, there will be some changes made to some wetland regulations.
Are we gonna get our sewer in before they change it?
Hope so. We already have our permit, our wetland permit.
Oh, really?
They gotta, redraw a new map, and there's a lot of things that would precede that, but there were some pretty significant changes.
What did you have to do, import some special fraud from another part of the country or something? Get that in like, isn't there a bunch of state projects out there and everything where they have a list of rules and, if you lose 5 foot of wetland or something else like that, you can add it onto a highway project. What you did with the Annie Marsh.
Yeah, base wetlands.
Yeah, I've never dealt with one.
Gee,
No information on wetland banks. Nothing else.
Cheryl?
All I can hope is for a better month.
It'll be fine.
It was a Monday.
JP, what would you charge us for, making larger maps or, laminating or, let's say, if we decide to have a zoning change and we want to have a public hearing where we need a big board, would you be able to, as part of your business arrangement with this town, can you provide 3x5s and stuff
Oh,
like that?
yes. You get, our normal printing capacity is up to 48. Depending on quality you're looking for, what you're looking for. There are some high quality commercial print
The
shops.
amount of public hearings that we have, like cell towers, and all that other stuff around here, I mean, big public hearings, zoning stuff, you really gotta adhere to a certain policy. Some of us have talked about a printing machine, bigger one,
Mm-hmm.
but if there's availability to us,
Yeah, we certainly have that stuff for capacity.
because there's all kinds of head documentation out there that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've already talked to the town of Greece, if we needed to do something, they do something for us.
Sure.
But if we kept it in-house, basically with the engineer and stuff, that.
You also go to the UPS store.
Yeah, I mean, when we have large jobs,
Yeah.
there's several commercial printing shops in town that we hire out for not just large format, but very high resolution and high quality. And, sizes that, even though our 48-inch printers can cut out our nice size prints, and we do have colors in that size too. Technology's got better than what we have. But if we can do probably 90% of what you need. If needs, states don't let you know.
Your for the farmland preservation and some of the other stuff. I'd like to keep it active.
Sure.
And see what we got some next person.
Yeah. You get us some ideas of what you're looking for?
We haven't decided who the overlay districts or something else like that, where we might end up in.
Yeah.
There's another tool.
Yeah, any thoughts you have on grants, let us know and I can forward through the grants. People. They'll tell us if there's good programs for those or there's not good programs.
I guess we've got another solar facility that's sniffing around the town.
We need to get an update on project that was approved.
The what?
Update on a project that was approved for the game store. An update on it.
Over on the old Bob's Grocery.
Yeah.
Okay, demo should be very shortly, and they've already asked for their building permit. So, they've already had their demo permit already, and then, I'm not gonna give them the building permit. So probably tomorrow or next day, and they'll have everything, they're ready to go.
How's that doing?
Pardon?
Marina.
Nothing on the side.
He's removing decks.
Yeah. I'm sure the guy who maybe permit to do that work. I'm hoping I can get him a shower.
Well, he's not dredging, he's removing
Right.
decks that are dangerous.
Now, another thing, did everybody notice we have a new screen on the wall? A pull down screen? So when we have anything that needs.
What kind of it comes down by remote? Now we gotta hit one of those little things.
Carol, short throw protector. None of my business thing, I was out on Tacoma last Friday.
Yes,
And
west or east,
west.
yeah.
And, the junkyard is coming back to life.
Oh, it has, yes, yes.
And, he's out of jail now.
Yes, he got out at 20 days for good behavior.
So I guess the question would be, did it start over again?
Yeah, start over again. We can't believe him just yet because his file is against karma. From what I understand, it's done. But because unlawful, I guess.
Wrongful imprisonment.
Unlawful imprisonment and.
Did he refuse to pay the fine and get contempt of court?
Karma, we don't have any information